gets you to break against the limbs. It's one of the most inflicting, damaging martial arts forms there is. So Cyrus Washington has that ability as well.
Yeah, and his spins are incredibly dangerous. Dave will look to get into the clinch by heating up the outside range. He's going to be at his best, slicing through these ranges.
And again, as Robin told you, each round is almost its own fight. As you see, both these combatants going at it three 5-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds, that is, excuse me, with 2 minutes in between, where you can really kind of compose yourself.
So I was watching a lot of what Cyrus has been working on and really putting together tight hand combinations, which would be very smart. There, Dave has been talking about in the clinch, trying to slice him up. Cyrus will kick from the outside, but as he passes through any range, or Dave passes through, Cyrus wants to open up with the hands, straight punches, hooks, and uppercuts.
Both of these, man, you can see the strikes that they throw can put the other one out, and it's just, this is where you see them miss by just a little bit with head movements. Ledoux just coming over forward now, that overhand right.
Dave missing is a part of his game. He will miss and flow into the next thing, and the miss is actually a threat. You see it right there. His elbows will come threatening in behind that knee.
Let me ask you, his body art, is that
is a traditional Lethwei pattern, yes. He's so connected to the Burmese culture, and it is a wonderful culture. The Burmese people are some of the most special people I've ever met in my travels.
I would imagine that's one of the reasons that he's won them over as his fan, because his ability to go in depth to the art
and connect to it.
Big left hand there, and a slip.
He was hit. They traded shots there.
Ledoux, long, lanky, big kick to the ribs, just underneath that.
There's the headbutt. There's the headbutt.
Oh, yeah.
Tight. Quick. That headbutt creates the separation, and then he fires into the distance. That's the distance created by the headbutt. You'll notice, of course, no gloves, simple wraps.
Just a brutal shot. I mean, big, powerful shots being taken.
Dave again there threatened the headbutt now and used it in your response to open up elbows.
The other thing I see is when you lead with the right leg, coming over with the right hand, you don't see that as much. Usually one, then the combination with the other. You're seeing both from the same side of the body.
Very, very observant, my friend. And there's Cyrus now getting loose with exactly what he wants to do. Very observant. He'll use same side attacks a lot, and
spinning back fist just missed, just out of range.
Some of this comes from not just the traditional Lethwei, and Lethwei, the Burmese don't need you to fight to quote Lethwei. Lethwei is a rule structure. You can fight with whatever skills you have within that structure. So that bit of Chinese martial arts adds to Dave's same side attacks.
Big shots inside. Dave coming over with that elbow, and then a front kick right up the middle.
Just drives it right up the middle.
Boy, both these men throwing some haymakers and some bad intentions, but you also see the control with it. And I wanted to ask you this, Robin, and JR, go ahead and comment about what you saw there and who you felt had the advantage, although there is no scoring.
Yeah, the judges don't play a factor in this. The rounds are not.
But the head, if it is a weapon and it is a target, it must be trained and you must become familiar with it, and you must not be freaked out when it happens. You see some lumps on the side of Cyrus's head, but Cyrus very focused. He's going to initiate here, I believe.
And the other thing is you got to know when to throw that headbutt. That back elbow almost scores. And then Dave coming back with that forward hand. Oh, nice kick to the body. And Ledoux coming up the middle with a couple combinations.
And Cyrus with a few big punches.
Oh, yeah.
Cyrus is not going to just lay down. He's getting into his flow now. This is going to be a hell of a round.
Yeah, Cyrus talking a little bit of smack there, getting back into Dave Ledoux's zone.
When Dave threatens with the knee, Cyrus punches. Dave will identify that, and he'll start to use it to draw punches. But you be careful what you wish for. You drop big punches from Cyrus Washington. Cyrus doing a really nice job of covering up there, protecting himself.
Wait, and you got to, because if one of those sneaks through with full power, and Cyrus took a shot right there.
Uppercut to the eye socket. And again, that is one of the many variables that are at play here. With bare knuckle, the knuckles go into spots.
That might be it. That might be it. He's up. He's up.
He's up.
Are they going to let him continue?
I think he may have a broken orbital bone. I mean, we're not doctors, but you see these things many times when you start to...
Nope, that's an uppercut that landed. It was quick, short, and powerful.
Yeah, and he turned the hip and he flowed through it. So
He's having a problem with his vision right now as well. You can see it. And Dave Ledoux smells the finish and coming in with a couple of forward shots, but maybe Cyrus playing a little possum.
Cyrus knows what happens now. He is injured, so a man will attack him. He knows that, and he knows how to attack within the attack.
Oh, big right hand by Ledoux, and then coming over with the shivering forearm.
Headbutt.
There's the headbutt there. You called it, then it happened.
Man, the audience is into it. Spinning kick coming. That switch there. Cyrus threatened the spinning kick and goes to the spinning back fist.
Yep.
Cyrus isn't going to lie down.
No, Ledoux coming over with those thunders, and he's got the really
cut again.
Yep. He's got that angle to come down with that crashing elbow. Ledoux's hands wraps have come off.
Yeah.
They got to tighten those back up.
No, I mean, it'll depend on what the commission decides, and Myanmar you would not see that.
Right.
But this is a commission and a hell of a good commission.
What would they do in Myanmar?
They would, if they ask you to wrap it, or they'd stop for a moment and tie it around your thumb.
Okay.
Or sometimes you see it'll just continue. It'll just become part of it.
They want to try to make the correction as quickly as possible, which is what they're doing.
100%.
But at the same time, you're seeing Cyrus being able to kind of compose himself and get back ready to roll.
So Patrick Marcel is very, very special as a corner. Just the right coach for Dave. They're both wild men, and they're both characters. So the fight can be stopped by the referee stopping it, or the doctor stopping it, or a man not answering when he's been dropped and he's getting the 10 count. And Cyrus was dropped.
Well, and I think when you were talking about his orbital bone, you may be right, because he's had, even with the time off that he's had to recover, Cyrus is having a hard time focusing and getting clarity in that eye.
Yeah, Cyrus is going to spin. He's looking to set up a spin right now, and that's a smart move. The threat of it even, but
another big uppercut by Ledoux, and then a big right elbow.
Just flowing through it. As Cyrus fires back with a kick, but
boy, these two are just going at it. And Cyrus, when he kicks, he's got full extension and full violence on that kick.
Dave kick into the spin, and now elbow, headbutt. And punches. It just comes at you from so many different angles, so many different trajectories, different rhythms, different timing, different weapons, different ranges. He just keeps pouring it on you.
And what I keep remembering that you said, Ledoux looks pointy. He's pointy, doesn't he? He's sharp. He certainly does. And when you look at it, that warning came in 20 seconds before the end of the round. A bit of a difference from American martial arts.
Sir. Now, I have never seen Dave slowing down, but elevation is a real.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know it living up here. The blood, oxygenated hemoglobin has to get to your brain, right? It has, and your lungs. It has to. And it's different up here at elevation. So this is affecting Dave, but 2 minutes will help.
So the big difference that I'm seeing between the two,
of the head, Washington with some good body kicks with full explosion and extension at the end, and the ability to have some time to recover.
Yeah, the 2 minutes makes a big difference. It really does. You get 5 individual fights with the adaptations and the learning and all the information you've downloaded within these secret moments of combat. You now have them at your disposal when you go out and you fight. But yeah, you see the reaction to his eye. The reason you immediately think there is damage, there's structural damages. When he fell, it was falling from impact and pain. And this is an experienced man. It's not from the stun. It's from the impact and the pain. So that he's done it before. He's taken damage. He's had breaks and micro breaks in the facial bones in the past.
Well, he may have another.
Yeah, he very well may.
And both combatants to the center of the cage.
It's in these first few seconds.
Ooh, big overhand right. Ledoux just crushing, hit him again over that eye. And Washington trying to conjure the ability to get back up.
And he's doing it. He's doing it. This is we use the term warrior real loosely. We've overused it, but that's what he is. If this man was born in a different era, he'd be on horseback leading his army into battle. That's Cyrus Washington. So you're going to have to separate him from his consciousness to win this by TKO.
Ledoux kind of smells the blood in the water right now and coming to impose his will. And you see the reach that he has, and then the ability to get away from the strikes that Cyrus Washington is throwing.
If I'm Cyrus, I'm throwing now. Right now. So watch this. Right now.
Yep.
Now we need to strike. Initiate. It's just very difficult to do. Dave has trained him to, your brain runs algorithms. It's trying, algorithm is if this, then that. Well, his algorithms are overwhelmed here because if this, then this.
Dove in with that headbutt right there as well. And when you look at you know what's amazing about these two fighters, you see maybe perhaps the more athletic looking is Cyrus Washington, but you see how Dave uses his body for the attack. He uses it perfectly.
He's weaponized his entire body. That's what he's done. And the reason his body looks different is because every moment that could be applied, and Cyrus might spin here. Cyrus might spin. Every moment that could be applied to improving yourself as a martial artist. Look at the blood
big
on the
uppercut.
top of the head. Look at the line down the top of Dave's head. That's from impact.
Well, and I'll tell you one thing, you touched upon it, and we don't talk about it enough here because we take it for granted. But there's a reason when the Broncos play, they say you're a mile above sea level, because it is real.
Yeah, it really is, but it's affecting both of them. And whatever affects one, as long as it affects both. Dave will strike with the head here. And again.
Grazing right hand, then the uppercut. I mean, this is like an all-out fist fight brawl.
He is an artist. He is an artist. He's painting a picture and he's telling a story.
And it's a violent canvas as he continues to strike with those elbows. And you see them landing. The fact that Cyrus Washington is still upright is amazing to me.
It really is. But that's who he is. That's who he's always been. This is what his life has come to this moment. Everything in his life is built to this moment. But Dave is overcoming whatever he has, minute by minute, strike by strike.
How about Ledoux with his ability to place the kick on the thigh to get him to come back, and then he can spring forward?
He uses all parts of his body to attack all parts of yours. It's overwhelming.
Oh, Cyrus with a nice sweep there.
Yeah, good for him. Dave shakes it off.
Ledoux just kind of knows that his hand wraps are coming off again. That's it. Wow.
What's that, round 3?
Round 3.
So if there was in their first fight, Dave, got the better of him. But history will say it's a draw. And Dave is thus far getting the better of Cyrus. But if he doesn't finish him, history will say it's a draw.
And he does not want, as we interviewed him the other day, and he talked about it. That's why this fight means so much to him. They've already fought to one draw. To kind of get back into where their thoughts need to go.
And you know where our thoughts need to go as well. Of course, we've been marveling at what Dave's doing. This is a wonderful performance. But Washington, this isn't a done deal where it's either a Dave finish or a draw. Washington can knock him out. He's learned information here. And these are the moments. Right here at this long middle distance. Not quite long distance, not quite short distance. That's where Cyrus is dangerous.
Boy, Dave just missed with, again, that big overhand right elbow. And you'll see those kicks to the midsection, then the front of the thigh, kind of to gauge distance.
Yeah.
But again, Cyrus Washington not out of this yet, still throwing big-time blows.
Dave's weird, and weird is a good word when it comes to combat. Dave's odd and irregular movement actually helps him defensively. You see where he catches punches off strange positions. His head is not moving on trajectories that are familiar. His weapons are not moving on trajectories that are familiar as he flows his way through this story.
He's elbows and shins. I mean, that's how he presents himself to you, and everything you hit is going to hurt.
Yeah, and you mentioned his body. It is very different. He doesn't spend time trying to muscularize his body. He adapts his body to the fight. His body was created through martial arts, not weightlifting or running or whatever other choice we have, and we have many choices of how to build our athletic platform. He's built his entirely through expressing combat.
Now just throwing some big-time shots there. Cyrus Washington's able to weather the storm so far. And Dave backs up and sees the position to attack, and he knows he's got him in trouble. He knows that eye is bad.
Cut again, big on the forehead.
Oh yeah,
that's a brutal cut. The doctor's gonna have a look.
Yeah.
You don't see it from that angle, but man, his face is beaten up.
Oh yeah.
Dave wants to finish it.
And back at it. And there's that front kick to the thigh again. I mean, just an artwork. There's the headbutt up the middle.
The headbutt. And Simon
did the trick, Robin.
Look at his face. That is Cyrus's blood. And he'll go over and talk to Cyrus now. Listen, from this point forward, we're going to talk about Dave Ledoux, but please give some love to Cyrus Washington. That is a veteran of 100 fights who came in here and fought a young man on his game. And look what Dave did it to him. Look, and if you see his face from the angle we see it, I've rarely seen somebody carved up the way he is.
Oh yeah, he is sliced up and he is swollen, and this is the reason why. Ledoux's coming in, he gets that two-step with him, and how much momentum coming in, Robin?
Exactly, he's creating force. So often, you don't look at Dave Leduc and say, this guy's got crazy power. Power is not something we have, power is something we create. He's creating it through movement, he's creating it through flow, he's creating it through elastic expression, a relaxed expression of combat. That was one of the great performances I've seen.
He picked apart Cyrus Washington. Cyrus had his moments during the fight, but everything that Ledoux did led him to the next step. And you saw him starting to build, coming in with those huge elbows and the uppercuts were the two big weapons in this fight, and that front kick that kind of kept Washington off balance.
Yeah, stay long, stay long, stay long, slice in. Stay long, make you hesitate to come in. So Dave dictates how and when you come in. But look at some of these shots. And this is, again, a veteran of 100 fights lost here, not certain of what's coming, and that is no insult to Cyrus Washington. That is a credit to Dave Leduc. What he was able to do here tonight, he's still getting better. And Dave Leduc has not disappointed. This fight is over.
That's it.
This fight is over.
Saw him do that. I was going to refer to you, and when you see this, Cyrus Washington took an enormous amount of punishment, and I believe, like you do, in that second round is where I think he suffered an orbital bone break, but then he exploded over here with the cut, and Ledoux, the sharpness of the elbows and the strikes, and he just points to his elbows, really did.
He's still finding that flow, and this is when the ref takes one look and decides, you know what? Nope, we're done.
Yeah, Ledoux, you see him celebrating. We see, fans don't see this, but we see this. I mean, Cyrus is having a hard time coming out of the cage. He is almost buckled as he came out, and you've seen him before. He took an amazing amount of punishment.
Dave is wearing the World Lightweight Championship shirt, and shout out to that wonderful organization.
2 minutes, 40 seconds of the 4th round, declaring your winner by